to the Irish Mags Show. It is episode 135. I'm Paul. I'm joined by Krisho and Alan for what is our last podcast before the new season starts.
They're not that lucky, Krisho.
Sorry to disappoint you. You can call it the first podcast of the new season or the last podcast of the summer, but either way, we, Newcastle United, are back playing football at the weekend. We host Liverpool on Sunday, 4:30 p.m. kickoff. I will be at the game, lads, and I can't wait for what will probably be a very difficult day for everyone involved in some shape or form, as it can be. But for now, we're staying incredibly positive. Lads, how are we doing? Since we last spoke, we were speculating on transfers quite heavily. The only transfer that got confirmed was Dedic, the one that we all pretty much knew was going to happen. Outside of that, a couple of names circulating, one big one in particular, which we'll come to, because we're going to be doing our pre-season predictions. And this will be our predictions for the game at the weekend, the predictions for the rest of the window, and then what we think lies in store for us and for Newcastle United and for MJ, the new manager, that Krisho still doesn't really copy. Isn't Michael Jackson?
Yeah,
Sorry, Krisho, you'll come around.
I will.
And then we'll finish by talking about our plans for the weekend, both at home and abroad, because we have events and travel planned all over the place, lads.
We do.
Before we do that, though, some plans, Alan Williamson, emerging out of Newcastle from the club. Something I think we've probably been expecting to happen for about 4 or 5 years. Craig Hope, I was the first one I saw tweet the information about what appears to be movement on our new training ground. The club then officially confirmed 190 million pounds.
190 million pounds, yes.
Spent on a 260-acre site. You can tell me where it is in a minute. I'll go and I'll start doing some quantity surveying when I arrive on Sunday. Get the camera out. Yeah, I'll go test out the soil, and I'll just go sticking my feet in the ground. But something else I saw, Alan, I don't know if you saw this as well. If the 260 acres is 260 acres, and if it is filled as our training ground and it remains that size, it would be the second biggest training ground in Europe, in the world.
It would be the third biggest. So George's Park is 330 acres. Whatever Real Madrid one is called, that's gone out of my head, is 300 acres, and ours will be third.
Who's George's Park?
The FA.
Oh, right, okay. The actual
so the actual FA. So like, you don't mind being behind them. Let's be very honest about it. That's like for every
fairly used. Disgraceful. Wow. Okay, that is. I mean, look. Some might say it's been a long time coming and are almost too late. But one of the things I said before we hit record, Krisho, in a kind of a throwaway manner, was we were talking about how the season might go and if things are in the shitter, do PIF even care? Alan then corrected me by saying, well, they must if they've just dropped nearly 200 million on a site. So does that reassure you, I guess, and should it reassure our listeners that, look, PIF are in this for the long haul? Because there was a lot of question marks and eyebrows raised at how much we're spending. We've sold a lot of players for a lot of money and not yet reinvested it, and the ambition doesn't look the same, at least on paper.
This is good for business. This is good for the business model. How do you attract young, talented stars? How do you attract bigger stars when we're doing a little bit better in the next 18 months to 2 years, where we're doing a little bit better than we are now? Better managers, better investment, better sponsors. You build the third biggest training complex in the world and doll it up, nice spanky new. One thing that we were talking about just before we went on air is that 190 million is just to buy the land. That is not to build the complex. That is not for anything else. That is just to buy the land alone from John Hall.
It's just like buying a site down in Galway, lads, to be honest, before you build the house. It probably costs you the same.
Yes, kind of very similar, but this is I think they needed to do this, and it's a. I mean, people can say whatever they wish, but this was specifically planned to get the new manager in, get Bruno out. Everyone's boo-hoo. Everyone's waiting to tear the stadium down and be fully negative. PAF don't care. We're getting crappy sponsors. Look at the state of the jersey. Yada, yada. It was just getting into a big snowball. That is all dissipated now. this news today. This news is probably one of the
until
most
Sunday,
monumental-
Chris. Until
Well,
Sunday.
this is one of the most monumental things that have happened to the club in a very, very long time, and it shows that these guys are invested for a long haul. What he said, they said that the first team squad will be using it in 29-30 season.
Yeah, the season.
So, but the women will use it. It'll be the youth academy. And I can only see now that they've gone and done this is that PIF are in this for the full long haul until the rules change and we can start investing a bit more money into the club. But this is one of the best pieces of news we've had in 10, 15 years, maybe. It's unbelievable, frankly. It's fantastic.
Long time coming.
Yeah.
Alan, what would you say to two questions for you, Alan? Number one, there's a few skeptics out there talking about the timing of the announcement, on how timing of things like this and in the past as well is strategic in terms of, oh yeah, we'll throw them this one to throw this shiny toy over here for people to look at to cover up the fact that, well, we're doing fuck all else in the transfer window and the season is going to be potentially disastrous because everything's kind of upside down. I'll ask you the second question after.
Basically, I don't want to say that everyone on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it is a hypochondriac, but that's the best way to look at it. Is like, we could turn around and sign someone tomorrow and lads still be saying, but we still need a cam, we still need a striker. It's now pleasing some people, and that's the easiest way to look at it. That, like, we have given out for so long, we need a training ground. They announced they've bought the land to build the training ground. They're going, well, they're only doing that because we're not going to sign anyone. Just people like whinging is the easiest way to look at some things. Like, it is what it is. The club have just, and it's not the club. PIF and the Rubens have dropped 190 million. This money doesn't come out of the club's accounts. The Rubens and PIF have bought this for the club. This is a statement. Like, it is an absolute 10 out of 10 statement from all of our owners to say, we are going to be here for the long haul. We're going to do everything we need to do. It's exactly what we needed in a time. Let's be honest, this summer hasn't gone how we wanted it to go in terms of losing players and not getting the players in that we thought we were going to get. But it really is a statement that we're going in the right direction, I think.
Yeah.
Just not in a hurry, but we will get there. We're like Aaron Road Aaron back in the day. We're not there yet, but we're getting there. Really positive, Chris. I think your statement is really good. It is in terms of the long term, in terms of the business plan, in terms of the future state. This is probably the biggest thing that's happened. Whereas over the last few years, we've all just been caught up on transfers, on PSR, on Champions League qualification, on having a shitty season, and now the manager changes, players coming and going, Isaac, Gordon, Tonali, Bruno, all of that. But aside from all that, there was the big discussions around the stadium, which still aren't the clearest in the world. But this is probably the biggest, clearest indication of complete strategic infrastructural change. And to your last point, Chris, it won't help us now. We have a lot to do between now and then on the field. But the difference now it's going to make, bringing a player over, come and see what we have. It brings me back to, God, lads, 129 episodes ago, Warren Barton was on this podcast. I think it was episode 6. And he said to us, you'll remember, that he was talking to Blackburn. There was a bit of Arsenal in there, Sheffield Wednesday when they were like a decent Premier League team. And then he said, Kevin Keegan, RIP Kev, tapped on his shoulder, just said, come and play for a big club. And we very much aren't in a position to say that as much now, particularly at this exact moment in time. That will change in the long term, particularly when we've got one of the biggest and best training facilities, plus whatever happens with the stadium, if there is expansion and upgrades or whatever happening there. It's gonna be hard.
Look at Leicester City. Leicester City in League One or the Championship? Yeah,
League One. Yeah.
League One, right? And they have like what the 5th biggest in the whole of the world, or the 6th biggest in the world training complex. That's why this guy is selling it. He's selling the whole damn thing. He's like, we are losing millions a minute. So Newcastle still do have to continue to perform. It's not going to wash dropping to the Championship with this kind of investment. Newcastle City Council have come out and thrown a bit of water on it. saying that, look, this is just somebody bought some land. There's no applications to build anything. We haven't.
In the original announcement, every single journalist said there has been no planning application made yet. So that wasn't throwing any water on it. That was said from minute one. I'm actually looking at the tweet now from Keith Downey. Downey, Hope, Mark Douglas, and Ornstein all tweeted at bang on 2:00 saying, not word for word, but they were giving us a statement to make, and they all made the same statement. And in it, it said, formal planning application is expected to be submitted early next year, so that they have. You can't submit plans for land you don't own.
Yeah, true.
You can't ring and say, "Can I build some on my neighbour's land?" No, fucking buy the land first is what they'll say. So all that people going, "Oh well, we haven't got the planning permission." Obviously not. I can guarantee you, like, it's only an agreement to buy. Like, the purchase hasn't been completed yet. So, like, temper expectations, lads. You have to buy. You have to do these things step by step.
They haven't even laid a brick. Well, fuck.
Exactly. Relax.
They haven't bought any bricks yet. Okay. Well, look, we'll take it as a massive positive. It is hard to think that far ahead and to think, oh yeah, 2030, this is going to be rosy, because we're so concerned about what's happening now. But the thoughts of Newcastle having that training ground, the thoughts of bringing players there, the thoughts of the conversations you can have with people, even just to recruiting, obviously signings, but what you can do with the academy and the development of players. We've a long way to go. We need to bring in the people to match that. But for us football manager enthusiasts, when you're requesting an upgrade to your training facilities, this is the dream response. Here's 190 million. Thank you very much. Right. Well, as those whispers were going around, Alan, you mentioned some of the journalists were kind of putting information out there. Around the same time, other information started to do the rounds on X today in particular, relating to seemingly progress being made between Newcastle United and Manchester City for what we would believe to be a marquee, our number one marquee signing, if it did go through. Obviously looking at replacing the gaps left by Bruno and Tonali, and that is Nico Gonzalez. This one sort of came out of nowhere, in the sense that, number one, it's never a player I thought we'd be in with a shout of getting. Number two, with Rodri leaving, and he was brought in to fill the Rodri gap when he was out injured. The talk today is that talks are progressing between the clubs. My concern, however, is, does this guy actually want to play for Newcastle and come to Newcastle? Because we've had this problem before. We have,
but the other side of the coin is that Manchester City want to buy Enzo Fernandez and Manu Kone. Buadi and Manu Kone. So, like, they basically
have them all, lads.
And they have Elliot Anderson. So, like, he will be fifth choice. So, is that going to be where Newcastle come in and go, look, you can stay and be fifth choice at Man City, or you can come in and be the big dog at Newcastle? You can be he'll be our superstar. Let's be honest about it. At the minute, we don't have a player we can pin our hopes on, and he'd be the one we could go, look, we will build the squad around you, because he is that type of player. He played against us last year, maybe the year before, where he was man of the match. He was outstanding at St. James's Park. I remember watching him, and I was like, he's going to be unreal. And now we're linked to him. It's just insane. He is such a good player. You're talking 60 to 70 million for him in my eyes, but it's worth every single penny if you can get him in, because he's brilliant.
And the thing is, I think here, Chriso, Man City, when you see them selling players, whether it was a Pep thing or not, or it's just the way they run things, they like turning a profit on players. Like, they just do. Especially when they've got more skeletons in their closet than the one that's behind me here, and all of our respective closets. They're obviously, like, Rodri's gone there for probably not far off what they paid for him. And look how many years of service and the age he is. Tijani Reinders going to Saudi for nearly double what they paid for him. So I don't think they'll hesitate with this one, especially, as we said, Anderson in. Buadi looks like he's on the way in. And then it's potentially Enzo or Manu Kone, which I hadn't even heard, lads. That's a good sign for us. In terms of the player, and I'm looking at this player now, like, Man City signed him for 60 million from Porto, so we probably need to gazump that. That's euros, by the way. So
50 million pounds.
52 million pound it was.
Yeah, let's call it 50 for cash. That's the way I deal with my millions at the weekend.
50 for cash.
This is a guy who came through Barcelona, like the Masia, the whole lot. Obviously ended up in Porto, where we've also been looking at Victor Froholt, as Alan Williamson well knows. But I didn't realize this guy has never played for Spain, and he's just watched all his buddies and a lot of the players he's grown up with, playing alongside and playing against, win the World Cup and the Euros. Here's the question. If you want to break into the Spain squad, where do you have a better chance of doing it? He doesn't seem to have done it at Man City in what is now a year and a bit.
Yeah.
I think he was a January signing, so let's say it's a year and a half. I wonder, does he stand a chance if he comes and is number one at Newcastle in our current state? Not last year's Newcastle or the year before's Newcastle. There's no Champions League Newcastle. But if he comes in and becomes the number one star midfielder and shows everything he can do, can he get into the Spain squad playing for Newcastle?
There's a lot of people, Paul, that would say no, he wouldn't, because he can come in and make an impact. He's an exceptional player, but there's a lot of, inexperience around him, a lot of potential around him, but a lot of inexperience. He's not 26. He's 24. He's just turned 24.
Yeah.
Dedic is 24, isn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, 24. Young lads. The one thing that I think about with Nico G, I'm going to say Nico G because I think we're going to sign him and he's going to replace Bruno G and he's going to cost 72 million pounds. They're going to make a 20 million profit. Is that he's going to need to, I think he'll want to basically give this a shot. If they can, he can see like that there's a lot going into it. There's a new manager. It really depends on, because I mean, like they said, it's been announced that there's advanced conversations. So they've obviously got past the initial hump of him thinking about coming to play for Newcastle. Now it's getting into kind of, what is the project? Where do I fit into it? Who else are you going to be buying in and bringing in to play with me? I appreciate you want me to help these younger people in midfield and drive the team forward, but who else are you bringing in to help me? Like Bruno did when he first signed, he wanted to know who we were bringing in. This is exactly with Nico G. I think this could have been done maybe this week before the Liverpool match, but I've got an awful feeling that this is going to ride its way right up to the end. But look, can we all? I'm going to ask the three of us. But can you realistically see it happen?
Yes.
Genuinely.
Yes.
I can too. Paul?
For me, the only way that this happens is if we are potentially like close to doubling his wages that he's on at Man City.
He's on 75. He's on 75 at Man City. We can.
So our current highest player, correct me if I'm wrong, Al, who has a finger on the pulse of what all the boys are earning, is I think Joe Linton.
On 140 grand a week.
And Nick Baltimore is probably not far off. So you're talking about bringing him in to be our highest paid player. We should be in a position to do this. I don't think financially I think we should be able to afford to do this in all the sense of the worlds and the reasons and the squad ratios and all this. But number one, I think it would take that to get him in. But I would want to be sure that that's not the only reason he's coming in, and that he has the appetite, to come in and become that guy. And even if that promise is, well, look at Bruno, right? He came in at your age, roughly. A lot of other clubs talking to him and talking about him. And now look what, he's ended up. And Bruno could have gone last year, the year before, and probably could have gone to any club. Now he's gone to the Premier League champions and the Champions League finalists. So here we are. The appetite would need to be there for him to come in and go, I want to do that. Maybe not. He doesn't have to do it for 5-6 years, but to become that guy. And
he could be the Trippier. He could be the Trippier. He could be Trippier of play too. He could be that
I think
guy.
it's for this guy. I'm not even looking to him for leadership. I'm looking to him for the quality. And that's what Bruno brought in those first 2 years. Trippier was the leader in the squad, right? Dan Burn obviously was there. Lascelles was still floating around. Callum Wilson was still all, Bruno's role wasn't to be a leader straight away. I don't think we need this guy to be that either. We need this guy to be an elite midfielder in a squad that is crying out for it, as far as I'm concerned. So if the assurances are there in the app that the player has the appetite, that's where I'm concerned. If it's like we're going after a guy that's like, I don't really want to leave. I don't want to leave Man City. I want to stay here. then we should be moving on fairly quickly, in my opinion, rather than having to twist his arm to come and join a very tough project for the next 6 months. You need someone who's going to want that challenge, not someone who's going to go, geez, it was much better crack over Man City.
I don't think we would have put as much time into it as we sound like we have if we haven't got some positive noises on the fact that he wants to come.
So who's going to come in and hijack this transfer? Because a lot of the other transfers that we've put this amount of time and effort and energy into have been hijacked. Haven't heard any whispers or rumors of other clubs yet.
Really?
But you'd be surprised if one doesn't come along. Look, I don't mean to be cynical, but this is where we are. We've been touring.
This is what it is, yeah.
But this would be our marquee signing of the window.
Oh, big stuff.
Especially compared to the types of players we've been bringing in so far. And we're crying out for a player of this level and quality. So if he was to come in, I would absolutely back him. And we might even get Krisho getting his name on the back of his kit.
No, he's not allowed. No, he's not allowed. I will take the jersey off you if you buy anything like that.
Sorry about that, Krisho. You had your time. Okay,
so
this is where we'll kick off our predictions, lads, right? Before we get to the Liverpool game and the result and the team, first question is this our marquee sign? Are we going to sign Nico Gonzalez? Is this our marquee signing? And would it be our only marquee signing in terms of a proper, ready-to-go first-team difference maker, 50 million plus? Alan, go.
I think we sign him. I think we sign him for about £65 million. He will be our marquee signing. He will not be the only signing that goes straight into the starting 11.
Agreed.
You're very positive, lads.
Yes.
I don't think we sign him. I think we sign somebody else completely out of the blue who may or may not be comparable to his level. That's only time would tell that. I think we're going to bring someone else for a similar fee, and I don't think it'll be him. But that's where I'm coming in with smoke screens and hijack deals. And I still think that we will drop a ton of cash, but I don't think it's going to be on this guy. I don't know. I'd just be surprised that he would go from Man City to us in our current state. Money aside. But that's my old cynical age. I can't help it. Been heartbroken too many times.
Look
at this club.
Look at the way it is. Like Al said, and like it seems anyway. They've been talking for about 10 days now, and the journalists might have got it, to say it, but they might have already been talking to him a good 5-6 days already, and he's still in it. I mean, they would have pulled away and pivoted somewhere else. They haven't got time to. I've got time to be hanging about.
You'd also think that City aren't willing to let him go until they know for sure that they have Boadi and one or two of the others, because they've just let Rodri go, they've let Bernardo Silva go, and they've let Reinders go. So that might also be a kicker here, that they're saying, well, until we have that replacement in, we need him in case.
Did you see that thing today where they said like that? Who did you say, Paul, coming into City?
Boadi, Enzo.
Boadi coming in, or Enzo Fernandez coming in, or both, will allow Nico Gonzalez to go to Newcastle, which will entail allow Willock to go to somewhere in Turkey.
That was some ITK lad who claims to have a mate who's like a club doctor or something like that.
Somebody's pushing dominoes around the place.
Yeah, don't be listening to lads like that.
There's a logic to it in terms of like.
Yeah, there is a logic to it.
There is.
One player comes in, you go down the pecking order, player goes out. But you get to the stage where, I don't know, if somebody wanted Willock bad enough, I think they would already have him personally. But at the same time, if Newcastle brought in a player like that, maybe we drop our demands and maybe Willock changes his views on things, and who knows. As it stands, there's 10 days left, lads. So we do think that there is a marquee signing coming in. Both of you think, and obviously hope, that it would be Gonzalez. I'm not sure, but I think there'll be another big signing that isn't Nico Gonzalez in that position. Plus, I think one more that we'd be happy with.
I think there'll be two more, but I think one of them will be that young fella from Barcelona, whose name is gone straight out of my head.
Oh yeah,
he will come in.
They're brothers, aren't they? Are they brothers?
Cousins.
Is
it the Fernandez brothers?
Yeah. Joelle Fernandez, Guille or Guille.
Yeah, and Tony.
We'll
sign him, but he will be as a Sean Stewart, like as a Cam type.
Okay.
We will sign a number 10 who will do a serious job for us. I don't know who it will be, but we will. I want it to be Bilal El Khanous from Stuttgart.
Another player who's just been going around in circles with his
Yeah.
name, everyone, but no one signed him. So it's
Yeah.
another one of those things, isn't it? You just sometimes I feel the name has been around so long. Surely it would have happened by now if it was going to happen. But then we did chase Malik Chow for 2 or 3 years, and like we have form in this area.
I see
okay.
Bergvall. I see Bergvall coming in with Nico Gonzalez.
Too expensive, I think, for what he is.
The only problem with Bergvall, I think now as well, Tottenham are just riddled with injuries. I know it's in slightly different positions, but Kulusevski, Xavi Simons, Kudus, Madison is obviously only just back. And there was one other player I think they'd lost. I'm just not sure. Can they afford to let him go? Anyway, that's besides the point. Okay. So we've made a little prediction in terms of the rest of the transfer window. We expect more signings, of course, but unlikely we're going to make a signing within the next 2 days that will have any impact on the Liverpool game unless we are able to walk them out holding a kit. Because on Sunday we play Liverpool, our old friends, pricks. Liverpool. For the briefest of moments before the game, it will be a harmonious stadium while everybody celebrates the life and legend that is King Kevin Keegan on both sides, a big figure for both Newcastle United and Liverpool. That is going to be a wonderful occasion. Expecting a lot of emotion, and what should follow is a lot of fire, because we would also expect a former Newcastle United striker to be leading the line. The first time in St. James's Park since he left.
First time he'll return.
Yeah.
Pelters incoming. Isaac.
Dogs abuse.
I get him.
Abuse.
I'm going to go learn some bad words in Swedish or something, just so he'll definitely hear them. But let's talk about the lineup for that. And this may also allude to if you think any players are leaving between now and the end of the window. But we'll dive straight into it. Alan, I want to hear your thoughts on what would be Matthias Jaisla's first official competitive Premier League first starting 11 against Liverpool on Sunday. There has been rumours of some injuries, or not even rumours, confirmation of some injuries. I think Joe Linton is confirmed to be out. Obviously, Livramento is out. Doubts over Miley and Byrne. So taking all that into account and considering the fact that all those friendlies told us pretty much nothing about how we're going to play and who he's going to like, what's the starting 11 in your opinion, Alan, on Sunday?
So my starting 11 will be Hornacek in goal, Dedic right back, Dan Byrne captain as the left centre back, Malik Shaw beside him, Hall announcing his new contract on Sunday morning beside him. We will then have two sitting midfielders of Bamba and Miley.
Yep.
We'll then have three sitting in front of that. It'll be a 4-2-3-1, sorry. It'll be Barnes on the right, Ramsey as the cam, and Alanga on the left. With
not Barnes and Alanga the other way. That's interesting.
Sorry. No.
Yeah.
Barnes. So Alanga on the right or Barnes on the
Alanga on the right. Sorry, Alanga on the right. I'm reading it out here from it. Sorry. And then it'll be Wissa up top.
So no Voltamati.
Wow. That's the same team. That's the same team that I've written down. 4-2-3-1. There it is. It's written down exactly the exact same team.
Now, that's a caveat with if Miley is fit. If not, Ramsey goes in there. Wissa drops back into the 10 and Asula starts up front. So
you lads have it fairly similar, Krisho. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
You're the same as Al?
Yeah.
Mine was slightly different. Now, my question mark became a question mark today. I actually thought Miley would be a cert to start just because of the role, the player that we need in that midfield. With him as a doubt, that's where I've made a slight amendment. But I also didn't have Dan Byrne in because I'm still not sure if he's really there to start. And also, has he played enough under MJ? So based on that, I had Hornacek, Dedic, Chow, Botman, and Hall. I think we're all between Botman and Byrne. I think there's obviously questions, but I still think that there's a hell of a centre back in Botman that we need to get out.
Yeah, we need to
get there. And how do you do it? By only playing him? I was looking at. I'm not sure in the formation because I think he's going to play Voltamade and Wissa, and I just think it would be a little bit fluid. I would love to see Voltamade up front. I don't think it's going to happen, but I would like to see him leading the line. And then Vissa is just kind of floating around in between being a 10 and jumping out on the left. And that also is with Elanga and Barnes either side, the same as you. And it's Bamba and Ramsey then kind of sitting with Ramsey in a deeper role than you might like him to be, but very good on the ball to fulfill it.
It's my one is the exact same way. So long as Miley is fit.
Yeah. That's where I am as well. Miley not being fit was a big question mark, and I'm still not sure about Byrne. I've something for some reason, I don't know why. I just don't know if he's going to start Asula. I don't know if he's. I've often wondered, is Asula unbelievable in training? Because for a lot of the time, he obviously he scored some big goals for us and started to come good towards the end of the season, but he was getting a good bit of game time ahead of Wissa and Voltemade before he started scoring goals. And that started making me thinking he must be unreal in training, because we know what Eddie Howe was like with that. So I'm just wondering, like, has Gisela seen that side of Asula yet between the friendlies and training? That's interesting to me as well. But the same logic I'm saying about Botman, and there's a defender in there, and we need to get original Sven Botman out. We need to be getting it with Voltemade as well. And Chrisio and I were talking, Al, before you were late for the podcast. Spoilers. You know, Gisela won the league twice with Red Bull Salzburg and had a Benjamin Šeško up front. Now, Voltemade is not Benjamin Šeško, but if you're thinking, all right, can we get a tune out of a striker like this with a manager who worked with a striker profile like Benjamin Šeško? Because I don't think Asula's like Šeško. Yeah. This is where I'm wondering, but is Liverpool the game to do this? I don't know.
I don't think so, because this is probably one of the last games that Voltemade will see him at the club before he gets loaned out before the end of the transfer window.
Surprise prediction.
Absolutely. I've got no chance we loan Voltemade out. Not unless there's an obligation for 50.
Yeah. There might be an obligation, right? Either Dortmund or somewhere like that, right? There's definitely discussed. We've kind of brought in a manager that's very similar, aggressive, front foot football, and I saw him in Edinburgh live, and I've seen some of the games that we played in pre-season, and he has been dreadful, like truly awful. He's completely off the pace. Again, like he did in Eddie Howe's teams, he didn't look like he fit in anywhere.
That's the problem. Why? Like, has he actually played leading the line?
No.
Just go up there and lead the line. Because that's what we did with him last September, October, when he scored 5 goals in 9 games or whatever it was.
He played up front, yeah.
And then we just gave up.
I just remember the header against Wolves he scored. He was brilliant that day, and he was just as a target
against Chelsea, I think, as well. No,
he got 2 that day. Yeah, he got 2 in the first half, and then was dropped back into the 10 in the second half, and we gave the game away. We drew 2-2. He is an out-and-out striker. I don't know why people keep playing him in 10s and centre midfield, but like the less said, the better. But just on you saying Dortmund have 3 very good strikers. They have 2 very good strikers, and Seydou Guirassy, who is unbelievable, but I am fully expecting his career to end any day now. So I can't see Dortmund coming in from him.
I tell you who doesn't have a striker. Barcelona. If I was to go speculating about who might do a panic loan that might say, right, well, we can afford to cover his wages or whatever. Like Barcelona currently, their striker options, realistically, since Lewandowski left, are Anthony Gordon, who I think picked up an injury and missed a penalty there recently.
Yeah, he did.
And Karim Adeyemi, who they've only just signed. And that's it, right? Because Ferran Torres went to
PSG.
Yeah. So unless they are up to something, I know they've been mad to get Julian Alvarez in. If there's somebody that might panic with a few days and go, right, well, at least we know that we can just, when we want to change how we play. And Real Madrid love this. They did it with Joselu, and they did it with Gonzalo Garcia, who's just kind of Fulham. And they've just brought in another guy from someone in the Spanish league, FSB, who just when there's 15 minutes to go in the game, either they want to chance a goal or they want to just hold the ball up for a while. They'll just throw someone on. If Barcelona wanted to take a leaf out of that book, maybe. But I'm not saying I want this. I want to see Voltemade leading the line for Newcastle. But that's
if Voltemade goes, we have to sign a striker.
100%.
But we can't unless there's a guarantee that Voltemade leaves at the end of it. So
I don't think he's going to leave. I suppose that's my response to Chris. I know Chris' point is valid because he's not playing well and he hasn't fit in, and we don't know if he wants to leave. I mean, Adidas had him in as their Newcastle player representative in their Adidas kit kind of promotional videos and stuff. So do you do that if you think he's going to leave? I don't know.
We had Bruno G in our one.
Yeah,
true. There we go.
Well,
okay.
Look. I'd like.
You might not be wrong, Chris. I'm not saying you're wrong.
I just think that, like, I don't think Yost is gonna like. I think he's quite a ruthless guy. I've got an awful feeling about him that he's gonna build a team that he wants, just like Eddie Howe built the team that he wanted, and they're gonna play the way they're gonna train and play the way he wants. And I just don't see Volta fitting in anywhere in any formation that we could dream up of. You guys are saying maybe playing Wissa and Volta together, playing them up front together, playing him as a target man. I don't think he's going to be played as any of those things. And I don't believe, if it's not now, I'm going to make a prediction, because it's all about predictions tonight. He'll be gone in January. He'll be gone in January. Yeah, he'll be gone in January.
Possibility.
Yeah.
It's not completely out of the question, but a lot would have to happen for that to happen. We are about 12 days out from the end of the window. As much as we said it last time around, we'll never get in this scenario again where we were signing Vissa with 30 seconds to go in the window. I feel we're going to have a mad couple of weeks or a mad week and a half in this window. That's our lineups for the game. Listeners, viewers, let us know your own predicted lineups ahead of the game. By the time you're listening to this, it would be Friday morning at the earliest, assuming the game hasn't been played yet. We don't know the lineups. Share what your own predictions were so we can check back on them and see how close we were. We're not going to be doing this for every game, but it is incredibly interesting and unknown to think about what Matthias Jaisler is going to do. Right, we're going to move on to our end of season predictions. However, Alan, I didn't ask you for your final score prediction. Newcastle versus Liverpool. He thought he was going to get away with it, Chris. Not a chance.
I haven't said anything. I also haven't said anything either.
Newcastle United 1. Liverpool 1.
Wowza.
I'm going steady and safe. We'll get a point in our first game. It'll be a game of high emotions. We'll take the lead, and Dominic Szoboszlai will get the equaliser. We'll take the lead through Malik Chow from a corner.
Chris.
Newcastle win 2-1. Liverpool lead 1-0 at half-time. There's some magic German wand waved at halftime, and people start to wonder, who is this magician of German a manager wand. We have? A German wand, yeah. And we get a penalty in the 88th minute that probably isn't a penalty, but the whole stadium and everybody else makes it happen, and it's 2-1. And it's going to be it's going to be a great start to a very kind of partially probably mediocre season, but it's going to be a fantastic start. 2-1 to Newcastle. Delicious game.
Take that. I would 100% take that any of the week. I fear that they'll have a little bit too much for us, just in terms of that quality. Like Alan just mentioned, Szoboszlai. Like, I think that guy could take us down on his own, to be honest. Like, I think he is that good. And then you can throw in, it might be Isak a little bit rusty, but he's slowly getting back to the Isak of old. I just still think they've got plenty of players around there, even though they probably haven't got the signings and they want. I think they'll have enough to overcome us and probably get us late. I do think we can score. I don't rate their defense. I think Van Dijk's best days are behind him. And to be honest, I think our biggest threat would be if we have an aerial threat, whether that's Volta or not, I don't know. Maybe it's set pieces. Maybe Dan Burn gets in for that reason. Between Van Dijk and what's his name, Jackie, the new fella, not incredible in the air. Ronald Araujo, I don't know if he's even fit, but he's not great in the air. Konate was their main man for those kind of high balls coming in. He's obviously out the gap. So looking like, I think that they'll just overcome us 2-1 kind of relatively late on, and we can hold our heads held high thinking.
Well, I'm the positive guy. I'm the positive one.
We live in a parallel universe, folks.
Yes.
Holy crap.
I know. A big shout out on the podcast for our podcast sponsors. Firstly, we are proud to be partnered with FSH Training Limited, who are frontline paramedics and firefighters delivering first aid, fire safety, manual handling, and patient handling training. Expert trainers specializing in training for all business environments. Check out fshtraining.ie if this is something you need for your business or organization. And also, we are very proudly sponsored by Jonathan Hickey Fitness. That's JH Fitness, a man who just completed an extraordinary journey for charity, which most of you will be aware of. Jonathan is an Irish-based online coaching business specializing in sustainable fat loss, lifestyle change, and long-term health for real-world men and women. Check out his Instagram, which is instagram.com/Jonathan. That's Jonathan with an O at the end, _Hickey. Big thank you to our sponsors, FSH Training and Jonathan Hickey. If you would like to get in touch about sponsoring any of the Irish Mag's activities or the podcast, all our contact details are below in the description. Right, lads. Time to put our money where our mouth is. Not the sponsors' money. That goes into a place that we're not allowed to touch. But in terms of the season, Chris Show, Alan had a heart attack when I asked him for his prediction for the Liverpool game. So now I get to ask you an even bigger question. Probably the biggest question on everyone's lips. Where are Newcastle United, Matthias Jaisla's Newcastle United, going to finish in the Premier League this season?
Can I give you a range, or do you want like a position? Somewhere between 10th and 14th. So like 11th or 12th.
That tells me comfortably avoiding relegation.
Yeah.
But not really in with a shout of Europe.
Not too far away from Europe.
Out of the chase with a couple of games to go. That's how I would describe it.
Yeah, kind of like that. Yeah, the last 5 or 6 games, just some poor results at home, poor results away. We won't be losing 17 games, I can tell you that. But a very, very nice and comfortable 11th or 12th.
Interesting.
Not to worry about it in March kind of way. You know, we're not getting relegated. We're not getting dragged into a battle. But it's not going to be brilliant, and it's not going to be awful. It's going to be okay. Sadly.
It's a bit like last season. Alan.
I'm a little bit more confident. I think we'll get 9th and we'll sneak the Conference League because of how the permutations work out, and we'll get 9th.
I'm the skeptic again here. Here's my predicament, lads, with the league. Tottenham, I don't think you're going to finish 17th again this year.
No,
they're not.
Chelsea are not going to be mid-table mediocrity this year. Right, those two in particular, right? And then other teams like Brighton gradually improving. Will Brentford improve? There's a lot of teams I think that are going to get a whole lot better. So then we, in order to finish, let's say, mid-table, need a few other teams to get worse. We need Everton to get worse. We probably need Fulham to be pretty poor, Palace to be pretty poor. Obviously, there's the newly promoted sides there as well. But if you're looking down going, right, well, if there's a bottom 6 that we might say could be along the lines of the 3 newly promoted teams, a Fulham, a Crystal Palace, and an Everton, then for me, we're on the edge of that, if not in and around that mix. Genuine. I mean, as of right now, that's based on the squad as of the 20th of August today, not having played Liverpool, not being overly convinced that we can do well, let's say, in the first 6 games that could suddenly leave us with a lot to do. And that's just being a little bit realistic about other teams that have gotten a lot better. Teams who are on the up, like, you know, as I said, like the Brentfords and all them. Maybe Sunderland are going to be shite this year, right? That would be fantastic. And
the problem with those teams is the Brentfords, the Sunderlands. They have Europe for the first time,
which is great.
We have seen how difficult it is to play midweek weekend.
Yeah.
The Sunderlands, Brentfords, Palace to an extent because they're into the Europa League and they're not in the Conference League. They won't struggle, but it will affect their squad a hell of a lot more than I think a lot of people are anticipating. I think they will do. I don't think any of them will go down, but I think it will affect their league form an awful lot more than than people are anticipating.
So here's the problem: we need a lot of teams to not do as well as they did last season. We need teams to struggle with coping with Europe, We need to hope maybe a couple of teams just don't continue in their upward trajectory. We need a lot of other teams to do stuff for us to have a decent season. That's a bad place to be in, but that is how the league works. Obviously, looking at football.
Paul, you mentioned 6 teams there, right? So you're kind of gone for 14th, 15th.
Yeah, I think that if we finished in 14th, and we were comfortably 14th. Okay, I mean, it's not great at all, but we have a worse team than last season. Like, bottom line, we have a worse team at this exact moment in time, 20th of August. We have a worse team on paper in terms of quality and in terms of experience. We're relying on a lot of other players to now have to step up. We have a lot of young players that we don't really know what's going to happen. We have a new manager. There's so much going on that we don't even know what we're going to be like. And we're also thinking about, well, a lot of other teams could go on certain types of runs. You know, Nottingham Forest or another one you have to keep an eye on. There's just a lot out there. But so if we were like comfortably 12th to 14th, never in the relegation discussions, and had a good run in a cup, maybe we could win a cup and get into Europe that way, and it gives us a little springboard. Like, compared to last season, when you have a worse team, and look where we finished last season, the realistic head is like, that's not the worst thing in the whole world, as long as we can see signs of where we're going.
Do you just really quickly, Al as well? Did anyone see this thing about where it looked like Bruno? They watched back the video just really quickly. They watched back the video. It looked like Willock was telling Bruno to go and F himself. You know, he's off to Arsenal. That's why they had that big row in St James's Park on the pitch, and Dan Byrne pulled him across and all that. Do you reckon that Willock actually knew, or the team kind of knew that Bruno was away after the World Cup?
If the team knew they were away, why were the club so surprised he wanted to leave?
They say they're surprised, but okay.
Player WhatsApp group.
yeah, player WhatsApp group.
Anybody looking to buy a house? Who knows? I mean, look, you can have all those theories, and they might be correct, Chris, or you might not be wrong. But I think there's other elements at play there as well. Like, when your team isn't playing well, you know, you get thick with your teammates. It's what happens, you know, and the teammates who think they're above where the club is, other teammates do feel that as well. It's at any level, right? It's like whenever we have a kickabout with Alan, he thinks he's way better than the rest of us, you know, and you just get thick.
I don't think that. I know that.
Yeah.
Where's my trophy? Where's
my trophy? Trophy's gone.
Right. Let's speed up as we come to the end of the show. Speaking of trophies, Alan, give me FA Cup and League Cup. Is it one over the other? Where are we with those?
I think we'll get to the quarterfinals of both of them, but we'll get a handy enough draw in both of them. We've already got West Brom in.
Yes, at home.
Wednesday, is it? Wednesday night?
Quarterfinal
that doesn't go out on the screen.
Yeah.
Quarterfinal. This is mental. We're joined in mind here.
I take it back. We're gonna win the league.
Yeah, I'm not liking how close we are together.
Yeah.
Here's my first bit of positivity for the podcast. I know I'm not that. Hopefully, I'm not that bad. I do think we'll go on another League Cup run because of the fact that Alan pointed out. All these other clubs are dealing with Europe for the first time. Even Man United are dealing with Europe for the first time in a while. Chelsea maybe are ones to watch, Tottenham as well. But I think we'll go on a League Cup run. More so than an FA Cup run. I just think it's a lot harder. And if we get a couple of kind draws, I think we could see ourselves in a semi-final, and then anything could happen. And that might give us a bit of momentum, like accelerated momentum of the squad gelling and enjoying a bit of football, because the league will be tough. With the FA Cup, I think you'd be doing well to get to a quarter-final. I take it. But if that meant going further in the League Cup and then focusing on the league, take that all day where we are currently. Yeah. Okay, last two. This is tough now. Lads, I was writing an article for somebody recently, and they asked me to name the danger man for each team in the Premier League. I don't know if I mentioned that last week, but I couldn't think who that player was, and I'm still kind of struggling. So now I find it very hard to predict who will be our player of the season. Mine is probably Lewis Hall, because he's the best player in the team, but that's the only reason for that, to be fair. Alan?
I think Lewis Hall will be the player of the season, but I think Bazumana Toure will be our young player of the season and will be a bit of a breakout for us.
Bazoo Toure. I'd love that. I want to see more of him as well. Like, you'd like to see him maybe making an impact as well. We didn't talk
60
about him
minutes,
in the lineup.
bring him on to run at whatever fullback is playing right back for Liverpool. You just unleash him. Just tell him to run.
Go at them. Chris, same question, player of the year / young player of the year?
Hall, Miley, Toure. 3 people, of course, but somewhere in betwixt those 3. Miley's going to have the breakout. Miley's going to have the breakout season. Not like, world beater, whatever, right? But like starting for England kind of thing alongside Anderson or anything. But he's going to have a proper breakout season.
He gets an England cap this year.
Yeah.
If he stays fit, he's more than capable, and I think he'd be more likely to be our player of the season than young player of the season. I'd be keeping an eye on Sean Sturlads. I think he may end up having a role to play. And if he plays well enough when he comes in, I think he could force his way into the team and surprise a lot of people. He just looks so comfortable.
Yes.
As a player in a midfield. Now, Premier League's gonna be a lot different, but one can dream. Finally, God, I feel like we're going back to the days where Iose Perez was our top scorer with 9 goals in a Premier League season.
Legend.
Who's our top scorer? Listeners, also let us know your own answers to these questions as well in the chat. Alan, last question, top scorer. Wissa. Double figures?
Oh, he'll get, in all comps, he will get 22 goals.
That would be a big turner for the books, Chris.
Whooped. Elanga. No, wait.
I'm calling the podcast now.
Wait. Let me try and explain. I'm only kidding. Of course not Elanga. He's probably one of the worst footballers I've ever seen. Of course not. It has to be either between Asula or Wissa. But I think if
get off the fence,
one or the other gets a good start, do I see them getting double figures? Yeah, possibly if you add the cups in as well. They'll share 12. Look, but this is the reason, Al, why I was saying that the league position is going to be pretty mediocre, is because of the goals scored. We're not going to get as many goals as we'd hoped. So, yeah, Wissa or Asula, Paul, sorry, I can't pick one. They're both kind of okay. We don't have a kind of a proper superstar up there that we should have, but yeah, 12 goals each,
Yeah, I could see Wissa like picking like kind of steadily if he stays fit, and I think he will stay fit, to be honest. I think he'll actually be fairly available for most of the season. I think he'll just kind of get a brace here and a brace there and then the odd penalty, and I just think his numbers will go up because his game time will be up. So I'd probably go Wissa as well. But like you said, it's so hard to, it's the first time in a few seasons we've not really thought, okay, here's our danger man, here's where the goals are going to come from. It's all so unknown, which makes this show a pain in the ass to record because we're trying to predict things we have no idea about what's going to happen. I dread to think what will happen when we wind back to this show.
Who's the penalty taker? Who do you reckon the penalty taker is going to be?
It'll be Wissa if he's on the pitch.
You'd like to think it would be somebody like Wissa, yeah. But again, another unknown. Maybe Iceland come on take it himself. He looks tough enough for it anyway. Right, that's the end of our predictions. As we said, listeners, are we completely off the boil? Did you nearly fall off your chair when Chris shouted Elanga to be top scorer for Newcastle United this season? One of many crazy things Chris has said in the last 135 episodes. Before we wrap up, a couple of announcements and reminders. If you were listening to this on Friday, particularly in the morning, you have a few hours to join the Irish Mags FPL. That is the Fantasy Premier League. All the details for that are in the WhatsApp group. If you have missed it, if you are not there, if you need information, drop us an email or a DM via the details under the screen or in the description. Similarly, there is also our usual last man standing, and a big shout out to Colin McCabe, who's running these competitions for the Irish Mags, which is where you pick your winning team in the Premier League fixtures every weekend. And as the name says, if you are the last man standing, you are the winner of the cash prize. Deadline for that, Alan, similar enough, is Friday.
4 p.m. Friday, because the Arsenal match is on, I think.
You'd want to get both. If you haven't done them and you want in, you'd want to get both of them done by as early on Friday as you can. So
exactly.
Check it all out below and get in touch if you have missed out on any of those, if you can't find the information, or if you're not in the WhatsApp groups. And finally, Alan Williamson, it's been 3-4 months since we've announced a meetup. We are back. The Irish Mags meetups are a go, and we have, I want to say, 3 for the Liverpool game, maybe 4.
Four for the Liverpool game. So upcoming meetups for Sunday the 23rd of August are as follows. We have the usual in Dublin, so I'll be in Dublin looking after the Bleecker Street Bar. I'm going to give the air codes this year because I keep getting given out for not giving air codes. So, yeah, just bear with me. So,
can you do them phonetically with your Alpha Whiskey Tango, etc.?
I'll give it my best shot. It's Bleecker Street Bar, D01KT22. So, Delta. I'm not doing. We then have
a stroke.
Quinlan's Bar, Blackpool in County Cork, which is T23DK60. So that's T23DK60 for Quinlan's and Blackpool, County Cork. In Kerry, we have the Castle Bar in Tralee, which is V92Y579, which is V92Y579. And a new one for this year is Clare in Maroney's Bar in Ennis, which is V95HA89. So it's Maroney's Bar, Ennis, V95HA89. So we will be in and around all of those bars from around 3:30 for pre-match discussions and pints and all that jazz. So if you're anywhere around Dublin, Cork, Kerry or Clare, get yourself into one of our meetups. Be miserable with all of us together because it is good crack.
We'll be there. We will, yeah.
The first of what is likely to be about 40 to 50 meetups for this season, and it's great to see we are all over the country. And for anyone not going to the meetups but who is attending the game or traveling to Newcastle for it, make sure you are in the travel WhatsApp group, the Liverpool WhatsApp group, where we've given options for people to say which flights you're on, and obviously we'll be able to meet at the different airports, whether it's Belfast or Dublin or Cork or Shannon or Knock or Kerry, or if you're in the boat or swimming or all of the above. If you have a helicopter, let us know. It saved me having to get up at 3 a.m.
Will Conway is getting the boat to Holyhead, driving to Ewood Park to watch Middlesbrough and Blackburn, and then driving to St. James Park. That man is a lunatic, and I love him.
We'll bring back the Mrs. Doyle meme. Maybe I like the misery. Will Conway likes the misery. Well, I'll echo it when I'm not gone to bed and I'm on a bus from Galway at 2:30 in the morning to get to Dublin Airport, to fly to Edinburgh, to get a train to Newcastle, planes, trains and automobiles. But either way, result aside, whatever happens, we're going to have a banging time in Newcastle or at the meetups, or even if you're watching at home, keep in touch in all our WhatsApp groups and all our socials, and all the details of those meetups will be in the WhatsApp groups and across our social media. Thank you very much, Alan and Krisho, for joining me. Thanks, you, Paul. Everyone, for tuning in, whether you're watching or listening. We'll be back for more Irish Magnus next week. The new season is upon us. How away the lads? Slán go fóill. And we'll see you all very soon.
Slán.
Good luck.
Matthias Eisler's Black and White Army.